mind that I had nothing to shout about, nowhere to go. And then I met the lively set, a new kind of world where everybody's just the same and nobody cares about the way you spell your name. You add them all up, then what do you get? A lively set. Oh yes, the parties on Friday and Saturday night, plenty of dancing until the early morning light. A dragging on Sundays at the strip. The lively set is that hip, and that's why I say.
Well, 20 years ago, the man next to me was just another spectator coming to watch Vinny's drags, but he's kind of responsible for the whole Cacklefest craze, and this car behind us got him started. Bill, tell me the story.
Kevin, all I can tell you is I felt like there was a big hole in my heart from the days when I would go to the drag races with my father, and we would sit in the stands and we would watch all of the stars, people that I saw in the magazines and read about in drag newses and things like that, and I just felt like where were they? Where did they go? They all disappeared. I think because of a lot of the big money that was built up into drag racing, that they couldn't afford to stay up with the guys that had money.
And they were hobbyists back then, basically.
They were hobbyists, and they were my heroes.
Right.
And I missed them, and I missed the cars they drove. I felt like they were thoroughbred racehorses that you would go to like a racetrack, and those racehorses would fly by, and people would be standing in the stands watching them go by, which is exactly what happened with these drivers and these cars.
What a passion, Bill. This is great.
Well, that's the way it was. And then all of a sudden, because the horse couldn't run as fast as the newer cars, they had to be put away, put out to pasture, and they were turned into cars that ran in lower classes, which was fine. That was good for the other guys, but I wanted to take a car back to what it was originally, as close as I could with the budget I had.
Right.
And I didn't have the money to spend to race. So basically I thought, well, what am I gonna do now? I got the car, it has no motor in it.
And how'd you find the car?
I found the car basically just by asking some of the old drag racers I'm looking for an old dragster. Where could I find one? And they helped me find one in El Cajon that turned out to be the Shelby Super Snake of Don Prudhomme. It was sitting in an old trailer next to a house, basically had been all but forgotten.
Wow.
And so it was one of the Snake's cars.
Indiana Jones of drag racing history.
It was just so exciting to unearth a piece of drag racing history, and I was able to trade that car for the Magic car, this car is tied to Kent Fuller, one of drag racing's premier chassis builders, Jumpin' Jeep Hampshire, one of the great drivers of the sport. I was able to have the courage to make contact with them and having conversation with them and asking them if it was okay if I presented their history as best I could to people that were interested in hearing about where drag racing came from.
And this is all way before it became popular to do that. You were a visionary. Come on, you dug these guys out of retirement, and we're here today because of things you did back then.
Well, all I know is I just appreciate the fact that so many people have decided that this path is one that they can do. It doesn't cost them a fortune to bring back a car and share it with others. And it's a wonderful showing of all this wonderful history out here that's alive and well. And the guys that were the stars back then that went to just becoming normal people, they are able now to get in the car that they were in 1965. Jeep Hampshire can get in his car and drive down the drag strip with the flames coming out of the pipes and feel like he's
a kid again.
A star again.
Right,
and
okay.
I can feel like a fan, and we all feel young as a result.
Right. Well, one more quick story. Now, there's a great motor story about this car.
Yeah, it basically was, I had the car, I didn't have a motor, I didn't have a path, I didn't know what I was going to do with it exactly. And what I did was I went to the Pomona swap meet because I figured I could go there and maybe buy some parts for the car. I'd never built a nitro Hemi in my life. I was a fan.
And everyone
I wasn't
knows
a racer.
The holy grail of anything automotive is the Pomona swap meet.
Right, correct. And so I went inside and I went through the main gate and I looked off to the right, and here was this line of little trailers. And what they were was they had the old farm implement motors on them, the old FOP motors that would go poochika, poochika,
Yeah.
poochika. And each owner of these motors was so proud to stand next to the motor. They had a history plaque that explained where the motor came from. And as you walked up to them, they'd say, "Would you like me to start my motor for you?" And they were so full of pride. That
and there's a whole society, and they come out every Sunday to promote it.
And they were so full of pride that they could present the history of something that was part of days gone by.
Right.
So I thought, oh my God, we can do this with these cars in a way.
Oh, you did.
So we brought it back. We didn't let it sit there silently. We brought it to life, and people loved it. They loved to smell it, feel it, hear it, taste it, everything.
Well, you just painted a mind's picture to me, because I can see those old one-lungers chopping away.
Yes.
And later tonight, we're going to see all these cars out on the strip cackling away.
I know, what a miracle.
It is.
What a miracle it is.
There was a time when all my world was down and out. I made up my mind that I had nothing to shout about, nowhere to go. And then I met the lively set, a new kind of world where everybody's just the same and nobody cares about the way you spell your name. You add them all up, then what do you get? A lively set. Oh yes, the parties on Friday and Saturday night, plenty of dancing until the early morning light. A dragging on Sundays at the strip. The lively set is that hip, and that's why I say, if you find life is letting you down, well, make it today. And once you learn your way around, this much I know, you'll never forget the lively set. Oh yes, a party on Friday and Saturday night, plenty of dancing until the early morning light. Dragging on Sundays at the strip, the lively set is that hip, and that's why I say, if you find life is letting you down, well, make it today. And once you learn your way around, this much I bet, oh, you'll never forget the lively set. There was a time when all my world was down and out. I made up my mind that I had nothing to shout about, nowhere to go. And then I met the lively set, a new kind of world where everybody's just the same and nobody cares about the way you spell your name. You add them all up, then what do you get? A lively set. Oh yes, the parties on Friday and Saturday night, plenty of dancing until the early morning light. A dragging on Sundays at the strip.
We didn't know where it was going to happen. It wasn't even on the first program in 2000. But what really prompted us to do it in 2000 was the Bill Pitts had restored this car. We brought it out in 1998 and 1999. Fired these things up, part of the scriptures, and racers and bands and events and refinement of cars, they restored them in the way they were in that golden age in the 1960s and 70s, which became Cackle Fest, and now there's over 400 of these kind of cars around the country that have been restored to perpetuate history. Bill Pitts, he's called the Cackle Father among his peers, and he's earned that name in spades. So we have something we'd like to present to Bill. It is rare for outside of racers to receive a Wally, but Bill, we've got to do it.
Wow, look at that. Whoa!
Bill Pitts, ladies and gentlemen. I'll read the inscription. It's the NHRA Heritage Spirits Award, presented to Bill Pitts with sincere appreciation for his continued contributions to the preservation of drag racing's golden age. We celebrate your dedication and commitment, and for bringing the past to the present and for generations to come. Presented by NHRA California Hot Rod Reunion Nitro Revival, October 25th, 2025. Bill, congratulations.
Thank you very much. All I can say is, when we went to the drags in 1965, I came to this track and I saw 64 cars go off in Top Fuel, and I thought, I just thought it was amazing, and it sunk the hook deep in me. So all I can say is, I love the sport, I love the sport's history, and I hope I can continue bringing out the magic car, and this is an amazing award, and I thank you, Steve.
And once you learn your way around, this much I know, you'll never forget the lively sets. Oh yes, a party on Friday and Saturday night, plenty of dancing until the early morning light. Dragging on Sundays at the strip, the lively set is that hip. And that's why I say, if you find life is letting you down, well, make it today. And once you learn your way around, this much I bet, oh, you'll never forget the lively set.